Hello all. Today we'll talk about vertical circular motion. Over here we'll consider two cases. In first case we'll consider that the bob or the particle is attached to a string and then the bob is whirled in a vertical circular motion. In the second case we'll consider that the particle or the bob is attached at the end of a rigid rod and then we'll talk about its vertical circular motion. Okay? Now what does vertical circular motion mean? That the plane of the circular motion will be vertical. So the particle or the bob basically will perform a motion in this sense. Getting this? Okay. Now look here, how will be the case be? Now as you can see, I'm not sure whether you can see the string, but over here, okay, fine. So over here I have this bob, or actually this is a stone which will work as a bob. Actually over here we are going to consider that the bob is a point mass or a particle. Okay? So it will have dimensions of a point. I mean it won't have any particular dimensions. But anyway, even if we consider some big object like this stone, we have to take the length of the string from its center of mass to this point where it is attached. Okay? Okay. Now this particular bob, okay, yeah, is given such a motion at its bottom end. It is given such a velocity, initial velocity, that it will perform a vertical circular motion. So some minimum velocity is required, right? So as you can see, if I give it a very little velocity, it just comes over this position and comes back. So there is some minimum velocity that must be required to be given to this bob or stone such that it performs a complete vertical circular motion. Okay? Now in the absence of other forces such as frictional force or the air resistance, once the bob completes one motion, it will keep on continuing the vertical circular motion because there are no dissipative forces. There are no losses of energy. Okay? Over here you can see that how the string is attached to this pen or that rigid support. Okay, so this pen itself will be attached to some further rigid support, and then the bob will be given some motion such that it performs vertical circular motion. Okay? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So the string over here will slip as the bob will perform circular motion. Okay? What I want to tell you that the string over here will not get bound on this pen. It is supposed to slip, and the frictional force between the string and this pen is assumed to be 0. Fine? Okay. Yeah. So this is that circular path with which the particle will move. Now I have not shown the string over here because the diagram will then become little complicated. Anyway, so when the bob is at the top position, I have shown the forces on it. When the bob is at the bottom position, I have shown the forces on it. Now once again, which forces will act on the bob? There will be only two forces acting on the bob. One is the tension in the string and the other is the gravitational force. Okay, fine. Now the tension in the gravitational force will always act vertically downwards, and the tension in the string will act towards the center along the length of the string. Fine? Okay. Now to understand how does the tension in the string direction is given by, let us draw this diagram and see. Now just look here. Okay. Now suppose this is some rigid support and I have attached a string to the support. Other end of the string is attached to some object of mass m. Fine. Okay. Now this mass of the string itself will be extremely small, so it will be neglected, or we will say that the string has no mass, it is massless. Even in our case, we will say that the string is massless. Okay. Now the gravitational force will act in the downward direction. There will be a tension in the string. Now, how to determine the direction of the force of the tension? Now look here. There will be a tension in the string means what? The string itself will give force to whatever objects it is connected to. Will apply force to whatever objects it is connected to. Now this string is connected to the rigid support and the object over here. Now to find out the direction, just put a cross on this string. Just put a cross on this string. Okay? Okay. Now as you can see, the string will give tension. There will be tension in the string, and that tension direction is given by this cross. I mean, if you draw only this object, so the forces on the object will be like this: mg in the downward direction and tension in the string in the upward direction. So you have to look this part. So tension in the string is in the upward direction for this bob. Or if we want to find out the force acting on the ball, so the force due to the tension will act in this direction, in the downward direction. Getting this? Okay. Now over here, as the bob is performing vertical circular motion, so suppose this is that rigid end where the first end of the string is connected, and right now the bob is over here, right, of mass m. Now since there is a tension in the string, put a cross over here. So as you can see, the force due to the tension acting on the bob is in this direction, given by this arrow. Fine. And the same force acting on the rigid support where the first end of the string is connected is acting in that direction. But since we are going to talk only about the forces on the bob, we are not interested in the force acting on the rigid support. Okay? So, and hence the tension in the string will be always towards the center along the length of the string. Okay? Yeah. Fine. And once again, let us just recall, for any particle to perform circular motion, what is essential? A centripetal force is essential towards the center along the radius. Fine? Okay. Yeah. Now, yeah, once again. So when the particle is over here, the force due to the tension will be in this direction towards the center. When the particle is over here, the force due to the tension will be in this direction towards the center. Okay. Now let us talk about when the particle is at the uppermost position, that is point A. Now in point A, when the bob is over here, the gravitational force is exactly in the downward direction. Fine. And the tension in the string is towards the center. That means right now it is also in the downward direction. So there are two forces acting on the bob which are in the downward direction towards the center. That is TA and mg. So both of them will act together as a centripetal force. Fine. When the particle is over here, let us say the speed of the particle is VA. Fine. Throughout the motion, the speed of the particle will not be same. It will be maximum at the bottom and minimum at the top. It is like throwing an object in air. So at the bottommost point, the object has the maximum velocity, right? And as the object moves in the upward direction, its velocity goes on decreasing and its potential energy goes on increasing. Okay? Yeah. So in the same way, the speed of the particle or the velocity of the particle will not be same throughout the motion. It will be maximum at the bottom, minimum at the top. Okay. Right now let us consider about point A, that is the uppermost point. Over here, who is providing the centripetal force? TA and mg. So TA plus mg will provide the centripetal force given by the formula mv square upon r. Here instead of v, we are taking VA because the particle is over A. The corresponding velocity is VA. Okay? So this is the first equation that we got for the uppermost point A. Fine? Okay. Now we'll talk about the minimum velocity at point A. So when the particle is at point A, there must be some minimum velocity for the particle to keep the particle in vertical circular motion. Fine. Now for that minimum velocity, mg is constant. So Ta, as Ta will be lesser, the velocity will be lesser. The velocity will be minimum when Ta is 0. Getting this? So over here, even if Ta is 0, even in if the tension in the string at this position is 0, still there can be a circular motion. Why? Because over here I still have a force, that is mg, that can act as centripetal force. So even if Ta is 0, still there is mg towards the center along the radius, that can act as the centripetal force. So for minimum condition, we are going to take Ta as 0. So if I take, so for minimum velocity at A, Ta should be equal to 0. So if I put Ta as 0, this will go away. M and M will get cancelled. Va square will be nothing but Rg. Taking square root on both sides, it will be square root of Rg. And over here I should write Va minimum, because I am getting this equation square root of Rg because tension in the string is taken as 0. Fine. So this is the minimum velocity with for the particle to be at A. That should be square root of Rg. Then only it will continue its vertical circular motion. If velocity over here is lesser than square root of Rg, then the particle won't perform a vertical circular motion. The particle will fall like this somehow. It won't continue its circular motion. Okay? So the minimum velocity should be square root of Rg. That will happen when, for the minimum condition, when the tension in the string at topmost position is 0. I can have a velocity greater than this velocity. So if I have velocity greater than this velocity, so some tension in the string will come into play at position A. Okay, so this was about uppermost position, point A. Now we'll talk about when the particle is at the bottommost position, that is B. At B, mg is still in the downward direction. So I have shown mg in the downward direction. Again, the tension in the string, as we discussed, is towards the center along the radius. So this is the tension in the string Tb. Now look here carefully. I have shown Tb vector this much and Ta vector was smaller. Now here Tb vector will be greater. Why? The tension in the string at position B will be greater. Why? Because now again at point B there should be some net force towards the center that will provide the centripetal force. So as you can see, Tb and mg are in the opposite direction. So the resultant will be Tb minus mg, and it has to be positive. Getting this? So, and hence Tb should be greater than mg, and hence I have shown it to be a larger vector. Now what should be the equation? Now the net force in towards the center will be Tb minus mg, and that will provide the centripetal force. Okay, so as you can see over here, Tb minus mg is equal to mvb square upon r for point B. Okay, fine. Now let us find out the minimum velocity at point B. So as we had discussed earlier, that there should be some minimum velocity at point B in order for it to perform vertical circular motion. Fine. And this velocity will go on decreasing as it moves in the upward sense. Now we have already seen that the minimum velocity over here should be square root of Rg, and hence there must be some minimum velocity at point B. If I put that velocity to the bob, the velocity will go on decreasing and eventually it will become square root of Rg over here. So let us find out what should be the minimum velocity at point B. Okay, now for that we will make use of conservation of energy. We know that the total mechanical energy is conserved because actually there are two forces acting on the bob. One is the tension in the string and other is the gravitational force. The tension in the string will not do any work on the bob because the tension and the velocity of the bob are always perpendicular to each other. So the work done by the tension is 0. Why? Because work done is force into displacement into cos of theta. Getting this? Now in every case the displacement is perpendicular to the force, that is tension in the string, and hence the work done by the tension in the string is 0. the only work done is by the gravitational force, which is a conservative force, and hence the total mechanical energy will remain conserved. That means kinetic energy plus potential energy will be constant. Fine. So as we have discussed, there will be maximum velocity over here and hence maximum kinetic energy over here. So if I consider this as the datum, potential energy over here will be 0. As it goes up, the kinetic energy is reducing, the potential energy is increasing. At the topmost point, I have minimum kinetic energy and maximum potential energy. Okay? So the net amount of kinetic energy plus potential energy everywhere is constant. Fine. If one increases, the other will decrease. The addition of both of them will always remain constant. Okay. So the same thing I have used over here. EA, that means the total mechanical energy at A is equal to mechanical energy at B. So mechanical energy at A will be kinetic energy at A plus potential energy at A. U denotes potential energy, K will denote kinetic energy. So this total energy at A will be equal to the total energy at B, kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now what is kinetic energy? Half mv square. So for A it will be half mva square. What will be potential energy at A? Considering this as datum, it is mgh, right? Okay, mg and h, this h. Now how much is this h? The radius of this circular motion is r. So this will be r plus r. So 2r will be h, and hence mg 2r will be the potential energy at point A. What about point B? Kinetic energy will be half m vb square, and potential energy will be 0 because we are considering this as the datum. Getting this? Okay. Now as you can see over here, m and m will get cancelled. Fine. And I am multiplying throughout by 2. So here 2 and 2 will get cancelled. Here 2 2s are 4 will become, and over here also 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So Vb square minus Va square, Vb square minus Va square will be simply 4Rg. Getting this? As m and m will get cancelled, multiplying throughout by 2, even this 2 and this 2 will get cancelled, and over here 2 2s are 4 will happen. So Vb square minus Va square will be 4Rg. Okay? Yes. Now from 2. So over here, if I put in this equation Va as Va minimum, I will get Vb as Vb minimum. So over here from 2, as we can see, Va minimum is square root of Rg, and hence Va square minimum will be Rg. Getting this? So, and since this is minus sign, if this goes over here, it will become plus Rg. Okay? So 4Rg plus Rg will give me 5Rg. So Vb minimum will be square root of 5Rg. Is it clear? Okay. Now we want the difference in the tensions between point B and point A. So I will perform the operation 3 minus 2. Sorry, this should be 3 minus 1. Okay, I will do the operation 3 minus 1. So I will get TB minus mg minus TA minus mg. I am doing 3 minus 1. TB minus mg minus TA minus mg. On right hand side, m upon r constant. So m upon r, 3 minus 1. Vb square minus Va square. So on left hand side, I will be left with TB minus TA minus mg, and minus mg will become minus 2 mg. And on right hand side, instead of Vb square minus Va square, I will put this 4Rg. So I have put over here 4Rg. So R and R will get cancelled. 2 mg will become plus 2 mg. So TB minus TA will become equal to 6 mg. Okay. So the difference in the tension at the lowest point and the topmost point is 6 mg. So from here you can see that TB is nothing but 6 mg plus TA. So I can just mention this over here. TB is nothing but equal to 6 mg plus TA. Okay? Okay. So these were about the topmost point and the bottommost point. Now let us talk about some midpoint. So let us say this is the midpoint. Okay? Yeah, this is A, let us say this is B. This was B, and let us say this is C. Let us say this is D. When the particle is over here, this will be the string. The tension in the string will be still in this direction. Let us say it is TD. Fine. And the mg force will be in the downward direction as usual. Now what should be the equation? The equation here should be, now which is the force in this direction? It is only this force in this direction, TD. So that will provide the centripetal force. So TD will be equal to mvd square upon r. Fine. Okay. Now before that, you just draw this diagram. Put this heading. Write down case 1, mass tied to a string, and then write down a point mass is attached to a string and is whirled in a vertical circular motion. Right? Okay. The forces acting on the bob is gravitational force mg in the downward direction and the tension in the string towards the center of the circular motion along the length of the string. Fine. These things you note down and then write down uppermost point A. The tension in the string and mg together will provide the centripetal force, and then you mention this thing. Then you write down about lowermost point B. Here the net centripetal force will be TB minus mg, and then you write down these things. Then after this point you mention the total energy at A is equal to the total energy at B. Then afterwards you can write down these things and up till here. Okay? Yeah. So once you finish this, write down the midpoint. We'll talk about the midpoint now. Okay. Now over here, what should I write now? It should be TD. That will be mvd square by r. So TD will be equal to mv d square by r. Okay. Let us say this is equation number 5. Fine. We use the equation till 4, right? So let us say this is equation 5. Again, we'll put the energy equation EA is equal to ED. So let us say EA is equal to ED. So kinetic energy at A is plus potential energy at A is equal to kinetic energy at D plus potential energy at D. So what changes will happen over here? Okay. Now over here for potential energy at A, we'll consider this as the datum. So potential energy for particle over here will be 0 and particle over here will be mgh. So h is r over here, so mg r. So half mva square plus mg r is equal to half mvd square plus 0. Okay. So as you can see, we can get vd square minus va square is equal to, I will get here 2gr multiplying throughout by 2. So put this equation as 6. Again from 2, again if I put over here instead of VA minimum, I will get corresponding VD minimum. So from 2 VD minimum square, again VA square minimum will be RG. So RG will go here and become 2RG plus RG, that is 3RG. So over here I will have VD square minimum minus RG is equal to 2RG. Get this? So VD minimum will be nothing but square root of 3RG. Okay? Okay. Again we will perform the operation for the difference in the tension. That is, we'll do 5 minus 1. So TD minus TA minus mg, TD minus TA minus mg will give me m upon r vd square minus va square. Again from equation 6 we know that vd square minus va square is nothing but 2rg, and over here I will be left with only minus mg. So td minus ta minus mg is nothing but rr will get cancelled, it will be 2mg. Again minus mg will go there, become plus mg. So 2mg plus mg is nothing but 3mg. So this should be td. td minus ta is nothing but equal to 3mg, which will give me that td is nothing but ta plus 3mg or 3mg plus ta. So over here I can mention td is equal to ta plus 3mg. Fine. So this is about when the particle is at the mid position D. Similarly, after this you mention these things now, and after this you write down. Similarly, for point C, I will get the same thing. So Tc will be equal to Td, and that will be equal to Ta plus 6mg. The mg is still acting in the downward direction. Okay, fine. Now after this write down for any arbitrary position. For any arbitrary position. Let us say this position. Now suppose the particle is over here. How should the equations be now? Now these were some special cases, right? Uppermost position, bottommost position and mid position. But what about the particle is suppose over here, some random position? Okay, so the tension in the string will be again towards the center along the length of the string. Let us say this is T2 according to your textbook. So mg still in this direction. Now I have to resolve mg into two directions. One is along this length of the string, and other is perpendicular direction. So let us say this is one component. If this is alpha, this will be what? Mg cos of alpha, and the other component will be mg sin of alpha. Now how the equation should be now? Now the net centripetal force will be what? T2 minus mg cos of alpha. T2 minus mg cos of alpha will be equal to what? M, the corresponding velocity, let us say v2, m v2 square by r. And if the particle is over here, now again the tension in the string will be towards the center. T1 mg will still act vertically in the downward direction. Again I will resolve this into two components. Now let us say this is theta. So one component will be along the string towards the center. It will be mg cos theta. Other component will be mg sin theta. Okay. So over here who is providing the centripetal force? Together mg cos theta and T1, and hence the equation will be T1 plus mg cos theta will be equal to mv1 square upon r. Okay. In this way we can write down equations for any position. Okay. Now as you can see, as the particle is going from here to there, the mg sin alpha component is in the opposite direction. The velocity is in this direction. So the axle, there is a retardation to the object, and hence the object will go, the speed of the object will go on reducing. But as it comes over here, again this velocity of the object is in this direction, the mg sin theta component is in the same direction as that of velocity, so that will accelerate the particle, and hence as the particle comes from here to here, the speed of the particle will go on increasing. So the particle speed is maximum over here, it goes on decreasing, becomes minimum over here, and again this goes on increasing and becomes maximum over here. Getting this? Okay. So this is about vertical circular motion. Fine. Okay, now we'll talk about case 2, when the bob is attached not to a string but to a rod, rigid rod. Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about when the point mass is attached to the end of a rod, rigid rod. Okay. Okay. Now, as we have seen in the previous case, that the point mass was attached to a string. It was attached to a string. Now this string is flexible, right? Now we have also seen that the minimum velocity required at the topmost position should be square root of rg. There should be some minimum velocity at the top to continue its motion in the vertical path, in the vertical circular path, right? Okay. Now, obviously, can the velocity in the case of a string at the topmost point be 0? No, because if the velocity over here is 0, the ball will simply fall down like this. The object or the bob will simply fall down like this, right? Or even if it is greater than 0 and lesser than square root of rg, the object will fall or the bob will fall like this, that we have also discussed, right? And hence the minimum velocity in the case of a string should be square root of rg, or it can be greater than square root of rg. But what if the object instead of a string is attached to a rigid rod? Now again we'll consider that the mass of the rod is very small or negligible, and we'll say that the rod is massless and the point object is attached to the end of this rod like this. Now since this is a rigid rod, even at the topmost position I can have 0 velocity, because till then the object will not fall like this, because it is now put on or placed on or attached to a rigid rod, and hence minimum velocity in case of a rigid rod at the topmost point can even be 0, and hence I have written VA minimum is 0. Okay. Now as VA minimum we have 0, I will also have some VB minimum. Obviously it will be something greater now, because we have seen that as the object comes down, the velocity goes on increasing. Okay. Now for that we can say that total energy at A is equal to total energy at B. So EA is equal to EB. Kinetic energy plus potential energy at A is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy at B. Kinetic energy at A. Now we are discussing about the minimum condition. Kinetic energy at A is 0 because velocity at A is 0. Potential energy at A, considering this as our reference point or datum, is what? mgh. H will be 2r. So mg 2r is equal to kinetic energy at bottom, that will be half mvb square plus 0, because this was our reference. So potential energy at B is 0. From this you can say that mm will get cancelled, multiplying throughout by 2, I will get here 4rg. So VB minimum will be square root of 4rg. That is nothing but 2 square root of rg. Get this? And regarding the tensions in the rod at the topmost and the bottommost point, we have to apply the same mathematics as before, and we will get the answer as TB minus TA, same as 6 mg. Okay, so from the previous case you can note down the same things and just get this equation very easily. TB minus TA is equal to 6 mg. Okay, so this was about vertical circular motion for both the cases, in case of a string and the second case in case of a rod. Fine. Now we'll move ahead. Now before noting down anything, we'll just discuss these two things also, and then I will give you instructions to note down the things. Okay. Now we'll talk about spear of death. Now again in the circle you have seen this hollow spear. In that hollow spear, a stuntman along with his bike performs circular motion. Fine. Now as he is performing circular motion, let us imagine that he is performing a vertical circular motion. Now in that vertical circular motion, who provides the centripetal force? Now let us check here. Okay, now when the stuntman along with his bike is at the topmost position, here there is no string or there is no rod attached to the object and to the center, right? But over here I will have the normal reaction from that sphere, from that hollow sphere acting on the vehicle. That will be towards the center. Okay? So at point A, the normal reaction will be like this. Normal reaction given by the sphere on the vehicle. Okay? It will be NA and MG both will be in the downward direction. Together NA and MG will act as centripetal force at point A. Again, same case as we discussed previously. Again, NA plus MG can be written as equal to MVA square upon R. Again, the minimum condition will be there. What will be the minimum condition? That NA can be 0, so MG will be equal to MVA square upon R. MG will be equal to MVA square upon R for the minimum condition when NA is 0. Again, we can easily show that over here, the minimum velocity required will be again square root of RG. The minimum velocity should be square root of RG when NA is 0. Okay? Okay. And when the person is over here, bottommost point, again the normal reaction minus mg will give us the necessary centripetal force. So basically it is the same discussion as previous. Only thing is that instead of the tension in the string, I have the normal reactions. That's it. Again, all the rest, all the discussions are the same. Again, when the person is over here, if he has velocity lesser than square root of rg, the person along with his bike will fall down like this. So the minimum velocity has to be square root of rg over here, or it can be even greater than square root of rg. Okay. Now the next thing is vehicle on the top of a convex overbridge. So this is a bridge in this shape, and the vehicle is moving along this bridge. Now, as you can see, the vehicle is performing a circular motion in this path. The center of that circular motion is over here. Again, for the circular motion, there has to be some centripetal force. So when the vehicle is at the top, the mg force is in the downward direction. The normal reaction is in the upward direction. Normal reaction given by the bridge on the vehicle is in the upward direction. So the net force in the downward direction towards the center will be mg minus n. That will be equal to mv square upon r, where v is the speed of the vehicle at this instant, at the topmost instant. Okay? Okay. Again, as you can see in this equation, for if the velocity is greater, the normal reaction will be lesser because this is minus. Na? As the velocity is greater, the normal reaction should be lesser because it is mg minus something is equal to mv square upon r. So this, as this n becomes lesser, this itself will become greater. So v will become greater. So what is the maximum limit? So for v to be maximum, this has to be minimum, and this minimum can be 0. And hence for v to be maximum, n has to be n minimum, and that is 0. And if n is 0, we have v maximum as mm will get cancelled, square root of rg. Get this? So the maximum velocity at this point should be square root of rg. And when the maximum velocity over here is square root of rg, the normal reaction will be 0. Fine. Now what will happen if the velocity is greater than square root of rg? If the velocity is greater than square root of rg, this vehicle will move like this. It will lose the contact from the bridge. Okay, so the maximum velocity has to be square root of rg, or the velocity can be lesser than the square root of rg. Getting this? So this was all about the vertical circular motion. Okay, so you first note down this case 2, mass tied to a rigid rod. Then you draw the diagram. Then you can mention, consider a point mass tied to a massless and rigid rod. As the rod is rigid, 0 speed is possible at the uppermost point. I will repeat, as the rod is rigid, 0 speed is possible at the uppermost point. Therefore, VA minimum is equal to 0. Then you mention these things. Okay? Yeah. And after this, you can write down about sphere of death. You can draw this diagram. and this discussion you can write down in your own words. Fine. Okay. Now after that, write down vehicle at the top of a convex overbridge. So write down, let v be the velocity of the vehicle. Let v be the velocity of the vehicle at the topmost point. N is the normal reaction given by the bridge on the vehicle. So then write down, therefore mg minus n is equal to mv square upon r. For v max, n should be n minimum, that is 0. Therefore v max should be square root of rg. Fine. So over here we have finished half of the chapter, the circular motion part of the chapter. The second part of the chapter, or the second half of the chapter, will be based on rotational motion. Okay? Thank you.